How to conduct user research that includes everyone, a guide to accessibility and GDS guidelines. Hello, and welcome to this in-depth guide on best practices for conducting user research. As an experienced and seasoned user researcher, I'm excited to share my knowledge and expertise with you. In this video, I will cover the best practices for conducting user research, including accessibility principles and the UK Government Digital Service (GDS) guidelines. User research is a critical component of product development. It involves gathering feedback and insights from users to better understand their needs, preferences, and behaviors. The insights gained from user research can help inform product decisions, improve user experience, and drive business success. To ensure that your user research is effective, efficient, and provides valuable insights, it's important to follow best practices. Let's dive in. Start with a clear research question. Before conducting user research, it's essential to have a clear research question. This will help focus your research efforts and ensure that you gather the right insights. Your research question should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, SMART. Some tips for creating a research question include: identify the problem you want to solve or the question you want to answer. Clearly define the scope and objectives of your research. Consider the audience for your research and their needs. Involve stakeholders in the development of your research question. Some examples of clear research questions could be: what are the primary challenges that users face when using our product? How can we improve the onboarding process for new users? What motivates users to continue using our product over time? Choose the right research method. There are many different research methods you can use to gather feedback and insights from users. Choosing the right one is critical for generating the most relevant insights. The method you choose will depend on your research question, budget, and resources. Some common research methods include: focus groups, group discussions with multiple participants to gather diverse perspectives. Observations, watching users interact with your product to gather behavioral data. Interviews, one-on-one conversations with users to understand their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors related to your product. Surveys, a questionnaire sent to a large group of users to gather their feedback on your product. Usability testing, observing users as they interact with your product to identify usability issues and areas for improvement. Ethnography, observing users in their natural environment to gain a deeper understanding of their behaviors and needs. When choosing a research method, consider your research question, the type of data you want to collect, and the resources available for conducting the research. When choosing a research method, it's important to consider accessibility principles to ensure that everyone can participate. The GDS has published accessibility guidelines for digital services that can help you make your research accessible. Some accessibility principles to consider include: providing alternative formats for participants who have visual or hearing impairments. Offering support for participants who use assistive technologies. Conducting research in a location that is accessible for participants with mobility impairments. Recruit the right participants. Recruiting the right participants is crucial for generating insights that accurately reflect your target user group and is critical to the success of your user research. You should recruit participants who are representative of your target user group and have the right characteristics to provide valuable feedback and insights. You can recruit participants through various methods, such as social media, user groups, or email lists. It's important to provide clear instructions and incentives for participation to encourage a higher response rate. Clearly define your target audience and their characteristics. Use a recruitment agency or online platform to find participants. Offer incentives to encourage participation. Screen participants to ensure they meet your criteria. Prepare a discussion guide or questionnaire. To ensure that you gather the right feedback and insights, it's important to prepare a discussion guide or questionnaire. A discussion guide or questionnaire helps you stay on track during the research session and ensures that you cover all the important topics related to your research question. This will help guide your research and ensure that you cover all the relevant topics. A good discussion guide or questionnaire should be open-ended and encourage participants to share their thoughts and experiences. Some tips for preparing a discussion guide or questionnaire include: clearly define the topics you want to cover. Keep it focused on your research question. Group questions by topic to keep the conversation flowing. Include follow-up questions to dig deeper into interesting insights. Include open-ended questions to encourage participants to share their thoughts and opinions. Use a mix of qualitative and quantitative questions. Pilot test your discussion guide or questionnaire to ensure it's effective. Conduct the research in a neutral environment. When conducting user research, it's important to create a neutral environment, free from any distractions that could influence participants' behavior. It's important to make participants feel comfortable and welcome so that they can open up and share their thoughts freely. Some tips for creating a neutral research environment include: choose a location that is quiet, private, and free from distractions. Use neutral language and avoid leading questions. Provide clear instructions and guidelines for the research. Ensure that all participants are treated equally. Provide refreshments and breaks as needed. Avoid using leading language or body language. Use effective moderation techniques. Moderation is a critical component of user research. It involves facilitating discussions, asking questions, and managing the flow of the research. Some tips for effective moderation include: listen actively and empathetically to participants. Use follow-up questions to gather more in-depth insights. Encourage participants to elaborate on their responses. Manage time effectively to ensure all topics are covered. 7. Record and document the research. Recording and documenting the research session helps you capture important insights that might be missed during the session. You can also refer back to the recordings and notes when analyzing the data. Some tips for recording and documenting the research session include: use a reliable recording device or software. Take note during the research session. Use a consistent format for note-taking and recording. Securely store the recordings and notes for later analysis. 8. Analyze and synthesize the data. Analyzing the data is the most important part of user research. It helps you identify patterns and themes that can inform your product development. Once you've conducted your user research, it's important to analyze and synthesize the data to identify key insights and themes. Some tips for analyzing and synthesizing data include: use a combination of quantitative and qualitative analysis. Use a data analysis software or tool to organize and analyze the data. Look for patterns and themes in the data. Use visualization tools to help you understand the data. Share your findings with stakeholders in a clear and concise way. Use data visualization techniques to better understand and communicate the data. Categorize and prioritize the insights based on their relevance and impact on your product development. Share the findings with your team and stakeholders to get their input and feedback. 9. Iterate and implement the insights. After analyzing the data, it's time to iterate and improve based on the insights you gather, so put the insights into action. It's important to prioritize the insights based on their impact and feasibility and create an action plan to implement them. You should involve your team and stakeholders in the implementation process to ensure that the insights are integrated into your product development. Some tips for iterating and implementing the insights include: create an action plan with specific goals and timelines, involve the relevant team members in the implementation process. Use the insights you gather to inform product decisions, test and validate your assumptions with additional research, continuously gather feedback from users to improve your product. Continuously monitor and measure the impact of the changes made based on the insights. Incorporate the insights into your product roadmap and strategy. Share your research findings with your team to promote a user-centered approach to product development. 10. Continuous research. User research is an ongoing process, and it's important to continuously gather feedback and insights from your users. This helps you stay in tune with their changing needs and preferences and ensure that your product is always evolving to meet those needs. Some tips for continuous research include: schedule regular user research sessions to gather feedback and insights, monitor user feedback channels, such as social media, customer support, and reviews. Conduct A/B testing to test different features and designs, use analytics to track user behavior and engagement. In conclusion, conducting user research is critical for developing products that meet the needs of your users, and conducting effective user research requires careful planning, execution, and analysis. By following these best practices, you can ensure that your user research is effective, efficient, and provides valuable insights for your product development that can drive business success and improve user experience. Don't forget to consider accessibility principles and the GDS guidelines when conducting user research to ensure that everyone can participate and benefit from your research. Thank you for watching, and happy researching!